Just to introduce myself, my name is Chrissy Pugh. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the regional recruiter advisor for California. And this is my contact information as well if you ever need to get in contact with me directly. But just to kick things off with an overview of USF, we were founded in 1956, so we are a relatively young institution. And though we are young, we do maintain an overall enrollment of 50,000 students, 37,000 of which are undergraduate students. So we are a large public institution. Though we are large, we do maintain a 21-to-1 student to faculty ratio with the average class size being 33 students. So similar to what you see in high school. USF really does pride itself on diversity, with 41% of our students coming from diverse backgrounds. And we do have students from all 50 states and 145 different countries. We offer over 200 majors and concentrations across our 14 academic colleges. So odds are, whatever it is you're looking to study, we probably have it at USF. So we are America's fastest rising university. We are very proud of this fact. We're ranked number 46 by US News and World Report. Fastest rising, what that means is that we are quickly rising in the rankings. So if you look at our rankings last year compared to this year, you'll see that we've jumped quite a lot, and that's what made us the fastest rising. So it is a really exciting time to be a part of USF. We are one university geographically distributed, and what that means is when I say the University of South Florida, USF, I'm referring to all three of our campus locations in Tampa, St. Petersburg, and Sarasota, Manatee. You'll get to pick which campus you want when you apply. Each campus offers something a little bit different and unique. Our Tampa campus, where lives live larger, it's the biggest of the three campuses. It houses a majority of our academic majors, colleges, and student organizations. So when you think large public institution, this is kind of the vibe on that campus. St. Petersburg, where city meets sand, it's a little bit smaller than our Tampa campus. It only has a few thousand students. It's really close to some of the best beaches in the US. So if you're really into outdoor recreation and you're looking for a little bit smaller of a campus size, this would be a really great option for you. In Sarasota, Manatee, where big ideas start small, this campus only has a couple thousand students here. So think private school feel, but for a public school price. But in the end, you get to choose which campus you want when you apply. I personally would recommend the Tampa or St. Petersburg campuses with you guys coming from out of state, simply because these two campuses do offer housing. Our Sarasota Manatee campus does not offer housing. So if you wanted to go there, you would have to live in, an off-campus apartment or something like that. As far as student life goes, we do have over 1,000 student organizations and on-campus events each year, so you definitely won't get bored. We are an NCAA Division I athletics, so we play in the American Conference, and we actually share a football stadium with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So the NFL team, they play in the Raymond James Stadium. That's also where the Bulls play. So it makes for a very exciting game day experience. If you're interested in sports, but maybe you don't want to play at that D1 level, we do have our recreation and intramural sports teams. So this is one of our highlighted student organizations. And then my personal favorite fun fact is there is a Publix on campus. Publix, if you're not familiar, it is a very popular grocery store chain in the South, especially in Florida. And so it's very convenient for our students to have one right there in their backyard. Kind of switching gears now to some admissions information regarding your application. So there are three ways you could apply to USF on the Common App, the Coalition app, or our USF admissions website. It doesn't matter which one you choose, just whatever is easiest for you. And our application is very straightforward. It just requires three things. One, the $30 application fee or an application fee waiver. Two, your official high school transcripts, and three, your official ACT or SAT test scores. Once you've submitted those three things, your application is complete and we will review it. From this, you could see that our application is strictly based on academic credentials. So that means that your GPA and your test score hold a lot of weight in this admissions decision-making process. So kind of what happens in that evaluation process. So your GPA, we're actually going to recalculate your GPA based on just your academic core courses. So there are 18 specific classes that we're looking for. And again, those are going to be your core courses like your math, your sciences, your Englishes, those sorts of classes. Unfortunately, it's not going to include, PE, driver's ed, newspaper staff. Unfortunately, those sorts of classes didn't make the cut for our academic core courses, but we will take into consideration, if you took AP, IB, or a dual enrollment course and add either a half a quality point or a full quality point onto your GPA. What I mean by that is, let's say you took AP biology and you made a B. A B would be a 3.0, but since it's an AP class, we would add a full point onto that, so that 3.0 becomes a 4.0. Same thing if you originally made an A is a 4.0, we add that full point and it would become a 5.0. So it really does benefit you to take those higher level courses if you are able to. As far as test scores go, unfortunately, USF is not test optional. This is not a USF decision. This is a Florida Board of Governors decision. So if you're interested in any public institution in the state of Florida, they are going to require you to submit test scores for admission consideration. We take the ACT or the SAT, and we do super scores. So if you're able to take that test multiple times, it really does benefit you. So we can get you your highest possible super score, and we will accept scores up to December of your senior year. As far as our admitted freshman profile goes, I've included this to kind of give you an idea of what the average admitted student, what their GPA and test score was. So these are by no means the requirements for admission. Again, this is just the average. So we have students below this, we have students above this, but this generally gives you an idea of kind of what we're looking for. So for last fall, our admitted freshman profile had a high school GPA starting at a 4.0, 4.0 to a 4.4, SAT 1230, and an ACT of a 26. Keep in mind this GPA is recalculated and these test scores are super scored. And I've also included our summer admitted profile on here, and you'll notice that summer is just a little bit lower than fall. These are still great GPAs and test scores. For summer, the high school GPA starts at a 3.6, SAT 1090, ACT of a 22. The only reason why summer is lower than fall is simply because we have less students applying. Fall is our most competitive semester. That's where we get a majority of our applications. So it is more competitive. So if you're looking at this and you're thinking, my test score, my GPA is more around that summer profile range, that's totally fine. You could apply for fall, and if we need to evaluate for a different term, or if we think that term would work better for you, we will review for that as well. As far as tuition and fees goes, for an out-of-state student, your tuition and fees, you're looking at around $17,000 for the academic year. But when you include tuition fees, housing, meals, books and supplies, and other expenses, you're looking at around a $35,000 total amount for the academic year. So that would be half in the fall and half in the spring. Now, $35,000, yes, is a large sum of money. However, when you compare that to other institutions, you'll find that our rates are incredibly competitive and honestly kind of low. We have some of the lowest tuition rates in the country for both our in-state and our out-of-state students. And so cost of attendance is definitely something to consider when you're looking at institutions, because this is going to be a reoccurring expense. You're going to be in school for the next 4 to 5 years. So definitely something to consider. One of the ways in which you could offset that tuition cost is going to be through scholarships and waivers, and we do offer these for our out-of-state students. It's kind of in that second column here under non-Florida residents, with you guys being out-of-state students. These are merit-based awards, so what that means is you have to have the GPA and the test score and applied by the deadline, which I'll talk about those in a moment, in order to receive this amount. So you'll see it starts with our green and gold scholars waiver with a 3.5 GPA and a 1210 SAT or 25 ACT at $6,000 per year. And then it goes up with our director's waiver and our presidential waiver. Just as the award amounts go up, the GPA and the test score requirement go up as well. You'll also notice that it includes the yearly award amount on here and also the 4-year total amount, because once you receive the scholarship, if you are awarded this scholarship waiver your freshman year, you can maintain it all 4 years. So kind of winding down now with our summer and fall application deadlines. Our application for next fall is currently open, and our priority application deadline was December 1st. So that has already passed, However, our next big deadline to remember is January 15th. So there is still time to apply and complete your application and be considered for those admissions scholarships. So January 15th, apply and complete your application by then. Unfortunately, if you apply after January 15th, you will not be considered for our admission scholarships, but you do technically have until April 1st to submit your application and still be considered for summer or fall. And then May 1st, our admissions deposit deadline. Let us know by that date if you're coming to USF. So we are offering virtual campus tours right now. I know it might be difficult to make your way down to Florida. So if you were interested in taking a virtual tour, I could give you that link. And that is all the information I wanted to give you guys today. I know that was a lot. So if you have any questions, definitely feel free to reach out to me here during this presentation, or here's my contact information as well. But thank you guys so much for listening to me, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Christy. Crystal, did you want to go ahead and go?
Yeah, happy to.
Thank you.
All righty. Well, hello. My name is Crystal Murillo. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I am an assistant director of admission for the University of Denver. And excited to be with you all. I have been with DU since I was a student. I graduated from DU and have been with the team kind of ever since. And I am really excited to have this new recruiting territory to be with you all. So the University of Denver is located in the heart of Denver, Colorado. We are a private university focused on the public good. So we express that vision and mission through what we're calling our 4D experience. And that 4D experience is really trying to focus on holistic student development, right? Certainly academics are important, but we know you all are emerging leaders, young adults, and want to support you kind of in all of the different ways. So this is a little bit of a snapshot of who comes to the University of Denver. As you can see, most of our students are from out of state. So if you decide to come to DU, you'd be in good company. We do have representation from all four corners of our state, and as well as throughout the country and even internationally. I can speak personally to that. I roomed with an international student my first year. Actually, it was a lot of fun, a really great learning opportunity. Though we are a predominantly white institution, we have made tremendous growth year to year in our domestic students of color, and that's remained true even this academic year, where we had our largest incoming class ever. So really proud of the work that we've done, and certainly there's geographic diversity. We really want to cultivate a robust learning environment for you all. We are on a quarter system. So this is what a degree plan could look like. So the difference is you'd have, instead of a semester school, you would have 3 sets of classes in an academic year. So for students who may not know what they want to do, an opportunity to take another set of classes for you to continue to explore. And for students who know what they want to study, it really offers the opportunity to be cross-disciplinary between the different colleges and schools, perhaps take a double major or a double minor, really being able to branch out. That was kind of the route that I chose. I studied international business, but I got to take a bunch of different classes in the different schools and colleges. So I took a gender women's studies class, a sustainability class, and I really appreciated being able to branch outside of my strict degree plan, which was really awesome. And you'll see that our degree plan is kind of set up with that common curriculum. That's really, again, trying to be interdisciplinary, focus on kind of those core skills that you'll still need after you graduate. And you can see kind of how a degree is built after that. A really cool thing about our quarter system as well is that we have a 6-week winter break. So for out-of-state students, that's the opportunity starting the week of Thanksgiving, so right before Thanksgiving to just after New Year's Day, students are off. So you wouldn't necessarily have to pick and choose which holidays you'd come home for. So really a benefit that a lot of our out-of-state students really appreciate. And I mean, nonetheless, the 6-week winter break is kind of nice. In addition to kind of what a degree plan might look like, there's certainly a lot of academic support for you all, again, trying to focus on that holistic student development. Most of our classes are taught by professors, right? Professors who are actively researching in their fields, who are subject matter experts, and not just teaching assistants. Our average class size in this year is 24 students, and our faculty to student ratio is 11-1. So we are technically a mid-sized private university, and we really try to bring, that combination allows us to have that smaller class size and bring, folks who are actively doing work in the field straight to you all as professors. We also have a number of other support programs, in addition to, the, class hours that you would have with your professor. We have a writing center, reading lab, math lab. We also have our learning effectiveness program for students with a documented learning difference as well, trying to make that full college experience as accessible as possible. We have a number of college access and transition programs that you can apply to once you are admitted to DU as well. So lots of support for your success as a student. Something I really love to talk about is our study abroad program. I studied abroad in Madrid, Spain, and we rank nationally for our program. And I think that's for two reasons. One is that we do try to make it as accessible as possible. So if you get a 3.0 by your junior year, you would automatically benefit from what we call our Charrington Global Scholars Program. So essentially, it would be the same cost to go to DU as it would be to study abroad. So that's the same. And DU will pay for your round trip airfare and your visa costs to study abroad in your country of choice. And then that kind of leads me to my second point, just the sheer volume and variety of programs that we have. I mentioned I went abroad to Spain. I had friends that year that went to Ghana, Japan, Thailand, just to name a few places. You can choose the level of competitiveness of your program. You can choose if you want a language immersion program, stay with a host family, live on your own. I mean, there's lots of ways to really customize that experience. And I mean, it's such a transformative time. It was for me, and a lot of our students participate, over 75%, I think, for those reasons. And it's just a really incredible opportunity that we really try to focus and is really part of our culture here at DU. Before we send you kind of halfway across the world, we want to make sure that you are developing a strong connection to our campus. You're building meaningful relationships here and connections within the Denver metro area. So we do have a 2-year live-in requirement. You'll see our 3 first-year residence halls, our newest one actually having been built in 2020. So sometimes it doesn't feel like there was a global pandemic, just because, in that time we were able to, that top demand residential village is the new residential dorm. So lots of new amenities that you could benefit from. We have several live and learn communities, a way to build a home away from home, themes around sustainability, international wellness as well, entrepreneurship, to name a few of the topics. So something to consider. All of our students do have access to our mass transit system. So you don't necessarily have to bring a car to campus, and would be able to benefit from just being 15 minutes from our downtown. So we are in more of like a, kind of like a residential area. So you're going to get that like college campus vibe. You're going to really be able to build a community here. But when you're looking for more of an urban experience, you're just a 15-minute light rail away. And kind of the awesome thing about college is that you get to have that autonomy over your schedule, right? And then certainly lots of dining options. We have a nutritionist and dietitian on staff too. So to accommodate, the many needs that you may have. We are a Division I school without a football team. Our top 4 sports are ice hockey, skiing, gymnastics, and lacrosse in a given year. And we have a number of club sports, intramural sports. If you don't see a sport that you already enjoy doing, it takes you and 20 of your closest friends to start up a new one. So we really, if I had to describe a DU student, I think self-motivated, independent would be 2 words that I'd use. And I think that's just an example of the types of opportunities that you would have here at DU. Lots of student organizations. Our largest club is our Alpine Club, and essentially it's all things outdoors in Colorado on a student budget. So they organize a weekly ski bus to the Epic Pass and Icon Pass resorts. And then they organize trips throughout the year to just kind of get out and explore the outdoors here in Colorado. Our second largest club is our Dungeons and Dragons Club. So if that's your jam, we have a home for you as well, and lots of in between. We have Greek life, you name it. And then an on-campus health and counseling center to really support that whole person development and wellness. And I can't stress enough the location. So Colorado is a really beautiful state. DU specifically is uniquely positioned between our two major business hubs, which is our downtown area and our Denver Tech Center, both accessible via light rail. Colorado is ranked top 5 in the national economies for several years in a row. So if you come here, there's lots of opportunities for you to look for different internships and even find employment after graduating as well. We're about an hour away from the mountains. So if that's something you want to explore, that's easily accessible too. I mentioned that weekly ski bus. And here's some of just the really cool things we have. That's you'll see our Red Rocks Amphitheater, a really great concert venue. This bottom left is an art piece at our downtown convention center that a DU professor commissioned. So some really awesome local talents that we like to highlight. So this is the nuts and bolts about applying to DU. So we have an early and a regular application round, and a binding and a non-binding option each one. So we've just passed our early action, and we're in our regular round right now, January 15th. We are on the Common App. You would need to fill out that essay, a $65 application fee, and then send us transcripts and a counselor letter of recommendation. We do accept secondary school reports as well. So you're welcome to submit more than one application or recommendation rather, to kind of add additional context. We became test optional back in 2019. So if you take the test and you don't feel like that accurately represents your ability, then you don't have to submit it, and we won't penalize you for it. So when you are competing for those merit-based scholarships, we'll separate test optional and test submitters in 2 separate admission pools. So that not necessarily being penalized for not submitting, but hey, if you do decide to take the test and maybe even take it multiple times, we'll super score that as well. So trying to give you the most competitive options. The top left is our cost of attendance. 95% of our students, however, don't pay full price, right? So they're receiving some sort of financial aid from the University of Denver. So just to kind of give you additional context, if you are applying for need-based aid, we do have some priority deadlines. You can submit it at any time, but that'll get you the quickest turnaround. So you can make the most informed decision, when you are applying to and making a decision about where you're going to go for the next 4 years. These are our merit-based awards. We offer them for transfer students as well. So anywhere from $10,000 to $30,000 annually that you could receive just in merit-based award. And then you'd apply for any need-based aid for the additional amount. So our middle 50%, we don't have a minimum per se for GPAs or test scores, but this will give you a good sense of where you might stand. These are weighted GPAs, and I mentioned that we are test optional. So that's kind of the nuts and bolts, and kind of last but not least, the value of a DU education. Of our 2020 students that graduated, most of them completed at least one internship. Most of them graduated within 4 years or less. And then most of them were employed or in graduate school 6 months out after graduating. So we like to think that we're preparing you as leaders and students while you're here at DU and beyond. And that's my spiel, y'all. I hope that that was informative. I appreciate the opportunity to tell you more about DU. And if you ever have the opportunity to come join us, we'd love to come host you, for a campus tour, maybe go to lunch. And then hopefully I can make my rounds in the next admission cycle to visit you all as well.
Thank you, Crystal. That was a beautiful presentation. Elise, do you want to finish up here?
Yes, all right. Share my screen. Can you guys all see it full screen?
I see it. Looking good.
Awesome. All right, so welcome everyone. We are so happy that you joined us today. I am the Assistant Director of Admissions, and I work exclusively with students coming from Southern California. So let's talk a little bit about Colorado State University. Colorado State University is a public Tier 1 research and land grant institution located in Fort Collins, Colorado. Fort Collins, aka Ram Country, is a beautiful suburban college town located about an hour north of Denver, Colorado, and about 45 minutes south of Cheyenne, Wyoming. Now, Fort Collins is known for being a very friendly town. We're consistently voted as one of the top places to live, a top city for health and innovation as well. Our students can easily get around campus and Fort Collins by walking, biking, or taking the city bus for free. Old Town Fort Collins is a pretty popular place with our students. They like to hang out there, grab a bite to eat, as there are over 600 restaurants in Fort Collins alone. I typically tell my students that Fort Collins has everything that you're used to in California, including Trader Joe's. We have Chick-fil-A, Raising Cane's, Chipotle, Five Guys, Starbucks, all your favorites. And we also now have In-N-Out in Colorado as well. It's down closer to Denver, but it's not too far from campus. A fun fact that I like to share as well is that Old Town Fort Collins did serve as the inspiration for Main Street USA Disneyland. So I tell students when they come from California to visit, they have to get into Old Town Fort Collins and see it for themselves. They might see a street that reminds them of home. Now be warned, you won't see Mickey and Minnie walking around. It's not going to smell like popcorn and candy canes, but you will see a little piece of home in Fort Collins. So CSU is the greenest university in the US and the first school in the world to earn platinum in the STARS rating system for multiple consecutive years. So we're not just green with our school colors, but also in our sustainability, both in and outside of the classroom. Our students can select from over 200 non-impacted programs, and a few unique majors that I see California students really enjoying and partaking in would be interior design, hospitality management, psychology, data science, construction management, zoology, and fermentation science, just to name a few. We also have exploratory studies programs for students who are just not quite sure what they want to study in college just yet. CSU is ranked as the #3 veterinary school in the country. So we are a great school for anyone that's interested in pre-vet. We actually have a live animal mascot, Mr. Cam the Ram, and he is our very own celebrity on campus. So while we are a large university, we do take great pride in making sure that our students find a smaller community to immediately connect with their students. We believe in giving our students a very hands-on classroom experience, and they have the opportunity to take classes at CSU's Mountain Campus, which is nestled in the beautiful secluded mountain valley up in the Rockies. This allows our students at the Mountain Campus to completely immerse themselves in the natural world of the Rocky Mountains for outdoor classes, academic field studies, and mountain research. Our students are very involved. They have over 500 clubs and student organizations to select from. We have Greek life, we have club and intramural sports, and we are NCAA Division I as well. Our Student Activities Office puts on various programs throughout the years. That includes community service projects, concerts, food truck events, all for our students to get involved and find their community on campus. We strongly encourage our students to join our honors program, maybe even study abroad, and participate in research and internships as early as their first year. So we truly make sure that from the moment you are accepted, you find your community at CSU. I want to share here just a few of the offices and resources that we have on campus to support our students. And they range anywhere from our writing center, free tutoring, the career center, education abroad opportunities where there's additional scholarships available to you. And we also have a President's Leadership Club as well. So now let's talk a little bit more about what it takes to become a RAM. So CSU does evaluate prospective students throughout the application process through a holistic review. So we will review everything in your academic career and all of your extracurricular activities to evaluate your academic preparedness for CSU. We are test optional, and you can submit your application through the Common Application. The early action deadline will always be December 1st, and the regular decision deadline is February 1st, and we do accept applications on a rolling basis. Pretty straightforward, but what we need, you can see off to the left, we list what we need and then when we need it by. So let's talk a little bit about scholarships, specifically WUI. So CSU does offer merit scholarships ranging from $2,000 to $10,000 a year, including the WUI Award, which is available for all majors, including our exploratory studies students that have not yet declared a major. Students are automatically considered for WUI when they apply to CSU, and it does not require a separate application. WUI is $10,000 per year. And again, it is a merit award at CSU. And it is available for first-year students as long as they have a total cumulative GPA of 3.3 or higher. I know that sometimes WUI can be a bit confusing, so I always tell students, rest assured, you can always reach out to me and connect with me directly, and we will talk you through the WUI process and how to qualify for it. Now, I would just like to take a moment to brag about our students and celebrate all of their hard work. So since our students are actively learning and getting involved in the community, a few examples of this would be our sports management and health and exercise students are getting hands-on experience with not only our CSU athletics teams, but also by working with professional teams like the Denver Broncos and the Colorado Rockies. Our apparel and design students are creating costumes for the Colorado Ballet Academy. Our hospitality management and food science students are running Aspen Grill, which is the student-operated restaurant on campus. Our interior design and construction management students are building tiny houses for the local community. Our equine science students are rehabilitating horses and finding them new homes. And our engineering and architectural students are using virtual reality to walk through their building designs and mock stores that they have created for targeted executives. So these are just a few examples that I like to share about how our students are learning, our students are doing, and how they're really making an impact on the world around them. I definitely would love to talk to you more about joining our Ramley, so please feel free to contact me directly to set up an appointment, come to campus. We would love to have you. Thank you so much for your time, and go Rams.